President Biden's speech last night was striking, not just because of the speech's content, but also for the elaborate stagecraft used to present the president. Red lighting, 2 armed guards standing behind him in front of Independence Hall, the birthplace of our nation. Many on the internet were alarmed by the imagery, claiming that it appeared imperial, demagogic, and dystopian. Some even comparing it to scenes from dystopian movies like this. This is V for Vendetta, and in early and eerie similarity here. You know, let's bring in our panel to weigh in on this. John Burnett, he's the executive vice chairman of the New York State Republican Committee, and Cheryl Chumley of the Washington Times. She's the online opinion editor. Good to see you both. Wish under better circumstances, because this creeped me out to the point, and it creeped me out to the point where I had a hard time going to sleep last night between what he said, but also what it looked like. And so you know where I'm coming from. In a previous life, I used to put together and design these types of presidential level events. The entire speech. Biden vilified Republicans, Trump supporters, MAGA Republicans, referring to them more than 11 times. Take a listen.
Too much of what's happening in our country today is not normal. Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans, not every Republican, not even the majority of Republicans are MAGA Republicans. Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans. MAGA Republicans, MAGA forces are determined. Trump and the extreme MAGA Republicans who reject the extreme MAGA ideology. MAGA Republicans are to destroying American democracy.
Cheryl, to you first. I want to talk about the staging of this, because it seemed really, really tone deaf. Because you have the message, but then you also have this very imperial-looking staging, and again, sort of wrapped in the trappings of kind of the founding of the country and Independence Hall there. What were your thoughts?
My thoughts when I first saw it, I started thinking of George Orwell's Animal Farm. And I also, when I listened to Joe Biden's speech and the rhetoric and the hostility toward conservatives, I started thinking that he was channeling his inner Mussolini. I mean, it was a despicable speech. And what bothers me, aside from the blatant use of the military to advance an imagery of hostility toward 75 million Americans, the MAGA type Americans, he also used taxpayer dollars to pay for this speech. And this was blatantly political, despite what the White House tries to say.
Yeah, John, again, I think this probably cost a couple $1 million between the plane, and it wasn't just those two Marines back there. The entire Marine Corps band was off to his left. All of the lighting and everything else that goes into a presidential event. This is millions of dollars to insult half the country.
Absolutely, right? So, and who paid for it? We did, the taxpayers. It's not only that cost, it's the cost of the actual airtime as well during prime time. I'm sorry, I didn't watch all of it. I did like Newsmax host Eric Bolling. After a few minutes,
you just had to turn it off.
I had to turn it off. Why? Because as Cheryl pointed out, it's the optics. It was very dark, right? It's almost I'm a PK kid, so it almost felt like it was a negative spiritual energy, right? Then when you look at the military being used, even before he got to the MAGA and bringing up all the divisive type of rhetoric, vilifying those who support Donald Trump, vilifying those on the right, it was more of that's what you would hear during a campaign speech.
Yeah, it was definitely
not a prime time presidential address.
More of a campaign, or more of a political
ahead
speech.
Of that midterms.
Cheryl, you wrote a book called Socialists Don't Sleep, and I know that you know your history. And the first thing that I thought about was the historical parallels here, where you have authoritarian leaders and authoritarian governments have to blame and demonize because they cannot stand on their own record, and in order for them to maintain power, they feel like they have to demonize folks. And what did you think about that? Did that kind of enter your thinking as well?
Absolutely. It's the Democrats' playbook, the divide and conquer, right? Look, Joe Biden right now is leading a country that he has basically destroyed from within. The inflation, the LGBTQ agenda is running amok. The public schools are in disarray. As a matter of fact, we just came out with those horrible test scores showing massive drops in reading and math of our youngest children. And he has to distract from that somehow. And the way to do it is to blame Republicans, blame specifically Donald Trump, because of all the Republicans in America right now, Donald Trump is the face that breeds the most opposition from the far left. So he's the perfect face to blame as the enemy right now.
So now I want to throw you a little bit of a curveball, you two. After all of that last night, Biden said earlier today that he doesn't consider Trump supporters a threat. Take a listen.
Come on, look, guys. You keep trying to make that case. I don't consider any Trump supporter to be a threat to the country.
That was just a couple of hours ago. It was as if the speech never happened. John, your comments on the flipped messaging. Does he realize that he gave that speech?
Well, he wants to divide, distract, and backtrack, right? The thing is that he's speaking to his base, right? By vilifying the right? He wants to energize the base through a method of tapping into their hatred for Trump and Republicans, while at the same time vilify Republicans, and then the next day switch gears, to your point, as though he never said it, right? Because he still needs those type of Republicans, I'll call it the Liz Cheney type of Republicans. He wants to still court them. So why? Because he needs them to vote in the midterm elections as well.
And he wants to deflect from the fact that the left is really in control of his party as well. All right.